May looks quite a bit brighter. The planets are in harmonious aspects to each other, and the commanding energy is air and fire, and air combusts fire, so things are meshing really well, and May has more of a breezy and free flow feeling to it. A lot of the signs are changing their attitude and finding new ways to move forward, and there was a lot of Wheel of Fortunes and Nine of Cups, the wish card. And then there was a few signs here that need to make some decisions, and Gemini was one of them. And definitely, you're the other one that needs to make some decisions, some dire decisions. If my memory serves me correctly, you've been holding back making some very important decisions in your life, and it's ramified your life. It's impacted your life to the point where the tower is shaking the foundation of your world. Now, you're not the only one that received the tower. For these 12 readings I've done for May, the tower came up over and over again for people to renew their life and release themselves out of bondage and finding relief. And this is really what you have to do. Let's go into your reading and see what's going on here. I'm going to start from the past because I think it's very pertinent and also pivotal for what your present is bringing you and what's in your future. On the left for your past, you receive the King of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is the apex of wealth and health. Or is it? Because the Five of Pentacles means you're impoverished. You're lacking something. And if it's not material things, and I don't see it happening there because of the King of Pentacles, you're impoverished emotionally. You feel like you're lacking in love and there's a black hole somewhere. Maybe it's just your perception of it, but that's enough to change everything. I came across the word deprivation the other day, and it is the damaging lack of material things or things that are needed in your life. And I thought, that is the Five of Pentacles. And then it has a lot of D words involved in it. Deprivation, destitution, hardship, denial, distress. Okay, one of them wasn't a D word. Things haven't been going very well, especially in your recent past. Now let's go over to the base of your spine. You receive the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords. The Swords are our harsh teacher, and you got two very harsh cards here. The Nine of Swords is about being in the depths of despair. We're back into the D words of despondence, distress, discouraged, desperate for hope and relief. You've been your own worst enemy and in some state of dissolution and personal torment. Something is bothering you that's eating you up inside. The 9 circles of Dante's Inferno hell are sucking you towards the gates of hell and putting you across the river Styx. But the number 9 means a completion is occurring and just around the corner. And perhaps difficulties will lighten up, but it's really up to you to make the right decisions. You have to face your fears, or they'll face you. You're at the back gates to an end of a cycle. Thank goodness. Now the Seven of Swords is the charlatan card. Somebody's stealing from you, but typically it's somebody stealing your emotions. They're being emotional vampires, and the only thing you're guilty of is allowing it to happen. Now up in your pelvic and sacrum for awakening and arousing, you receive the Star and the Hierophant. These are really two spiritual cards. The Star is saying that the fog is dissipating and the light is being cast on a road of cosmic understanding and healing for hope and the future. It's like a gossamer veil that's lifting. And you're seeing things now with more clarity. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But this is where you have to start loving thyself and seeing the bright light inside you. The star brings a gift of comprehension and indicates that creative energies are flowing. And finally, maybe you can achieve some happiness inside yourself. And the Hierophant is there to represent traditional teachings and how you can expand your spiritual self. The star brings clarity, and the Hierophant brings truth. When you see him in a spread, it means you're seeking some kind of truth. The word Hierophant in Latin means to make known or to show. And you know there's been a lot of truths out there, but you've just been looking at it. You haven't really been seeing and understanding these truths. Now up in the solar plexus, for sensing and feeling, you receive the Eight of Cups and the Five of Cups. You know, everybody thinks the Eight of Cups is a bummer card, you know. Oh God, I got the Eight of Cups, I'm walking away from something. But to me, it's like freeing yourself. Oh yeah, I'm out of here. I'm not sticking around anymore. It's time to leave. It's time to change. And the Five of Cups, too, is another card that's about a lot of D words: despondency, displacement, depression. It is time for you to move on and change it out of here. I know some of the readings I've given Virgo lately have been very tough. And I know Scorpio has gone through 5 years of just disparity. Saturn's been in the second house. A lot of things have been going on with Scorpio and Virgo. And now Scorpio's starting to climb out of this, but now it's up to you to start seeing some truths to climb out of the hole that you're in now, because you've been in a black hole. Now in the center, for the heart of the matter, you receive the Ten of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. Now this isn't anything new to you, that the Ten of Wands indicates a lot of responsibility and a heavy load. Since you're so detail-oriented anyway, you usually do take on a heavy load and do a good job at something and recheck everything diligently. Now the Three of Pentacles indicates that you're building something. I call this the Architect card. But it's also usually indicating a group effort, some type of teamwork. Everybody's on the same sheet of music. And you're sharing the achievement of goals. And the message of this card is to get with the program and find balance and enjoyment through your work and collaboration with others. Find a happy place with others, because I don't think you have, or completely have. Now down on the bottom right for your throat for teachings and communicating, you receive the Six of Swords and the Seven of Cups. Now the Six of Swords is a card about moving on, just like the Eight of Cups. It's telling you for a second time, maybe you should rethink some things and move on away from some things. And the Seven of Cups is saying the same thing. The Seven of Cups is about a difficult decision. There's a prize and a poison in each cup, and you're not sure which cup to lose and which cup to choose. But if you don't make a decision, that's a decision too. And boy, this is reinforced up in the third eye for seeing and envisioning. You received the Two of Swords twice. And two, to me, means decision, balance, and partnership. But this is also another hard decision, because the woman has her two arms over her heart chakra. And it's meaning that there's equal but opposing forces that are tearing you apart, because you don't know which way to turn. And you're in the middle of some type of dilemma. And this is reinforced up in the crown for knowing and understanding because you received the Tower. Now, the Tower has showed up in this May series quite a few times, but it's only been like fault zones running underneath the Tower. But here, this is like a collapse. It is time to free yourself from bondage. You know, you've got the Nine of Swords down there. It's keeping you up at night. Something's bothering you. You know, you've got the Five of Cups. And in the background, normally, of the Five of Cups, there's always an illustration of a bridge. And it's telling you to walk over the bridge. You know, some cups are spilled, but some are still full. And you have to look at life as the cups are half full and not half empty. Now, this Tower card is starting to shake not only your conscious, but your unconscious self. Your whole cage is starting to shake. And the clarification card is the Queen of Cups. She's staring into a cup with a cover over it. This is indicating that you're supposed to use your intuition to start driving your decisions. I mean, logic and reason has to be behind it. But you haven't been listening to your gut feelings. You haven't been listening to the subtle messages from the cosmos that's saying, yeah, you really have to change to make yourself happy again. Now, we've discussed the past, so let's skip over to the future. The main card is Temperance. You know, she's there for the rebuilding and to clean up the rubble from the nuclear explosion of the Tower. It's kind of like the cosmos left you a blank canvas and now you have to do cautious brush strokes. Use moderation and self-control and restraint while shedding impulsive desires. All types of relationships require temperance. And resisting change makes you your own worst enemy. And I'd mention that to Gemini too, is that they've been their own worst enemy because they haven't been able to make decisions. Now, I pulled two clarification cards for the future card and received the Chariot and the World. The Chariot is about overcoming opposition, overcoming opposing forces, and using discipline and willpower to move yourself forward. And the World card is there to say, yes, if you can do that, then you've earned and learned, and you can change. Don't fear the Tower card. It's there for a readjustment and a reset button for your life. And the Ace of Cups. Gosh, I can't count how many times I've seen that Death card recently. I think a lot of people are flushing things out. You know, getting rid of beliefs and emotions that are no longer serving you. They don't have an advantage in your life and they've just been kind of hanging around. And nobody seems to be making a decision to get rid of them, so the cosmos is making this decision for you. It's time for a rebirth. Things are changing, and I know Virgos have been resisting change. You seem to be getting that Four of Pentacles cards all the time, and you were relieved of that in this reading. But the Four of Pentacles is about hanging on to something, and I know you have been doing that persistently in the past. But now it's saying, no, it's exploding and everything's going into outer space. And now you're going to start regaining yourself. You're going to free yourself. This is a free from bondage card. You know, you're moving on now, it's saying. You know, fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. And I think there's been claw marks on the door for you to not want to change. You know, the one thing about life is that's all we can depend on is change, which is a paradox, a conundrum in itself. There's a reason for everything in life, and sometimes you just have to let things go. The Death card is beckoning for a conclusion from you. He wants you to put this away forever. Whatever it is that's been bothering you, whatever you need to walk away from. Don't look back. And maybe you are transforming now because you received the Eight of Wands. And this card has a lot of levels to it. It's, a hazy miasma is lifting and you're starting to see things with clarity. Things are moving along in your life where it hadn't been. An immovable mountain is now movable now. Doors of opportunity are swinging open. It can indicate journey, and sometimes a journey of the mind. It can indicate swift, unfolding events, and really the cadences of our life, kids growing up, us getting older, and the challenges that we have to deal with change. So this is an excellent card to get with the Death card. Now it's saying you're rolling along and you're changing in a very positive way. Now let's jump over to the Ace of Cups, saying now that it's giving you a new beginning, the promise of a new beginning for deeper emotional bonds and more harmonious emotional relationships. And this can be on multi-levels too. It doesn't have to be a love affair. It can be with family and friends, or maybe just more congenial interactions with co-workers and neighbors. But as I recall, you Virgos have received this Ace of Cups cards quite a few times in the past. And I'd like to say that you love to be loved, and you're seeking for the right type of love. And now it's saying that there is some blessings coming. And really, it's just going to be more emotional well-being. You've been seeking some type of balance within yourself, emotionally, and with your surrounding people. You've had a hard time balancing that out. And I think this transformation will be doing that. Your unconscious self is going to start connecting to the conscious self about feelings and what you're truly feeling. Do you think to feel or do you feel to think? In high school, we used to say, how do you feel? And we'd always say, with our hands. Because, at that age, we really didn't understand even our own emotions. I think now you are. Now I rolled the dice, and you received Virgo, Jupiter, and the 8th house. So you received your own zodiac sign. So this is a double dipping here. It's saying that there's going to be more power involved in this reading between me doing this for Virgo and you receiving the Virgo die. It's kind of funny, I've noticed in these readings that there's been a lot of connections like that, or else, Aries would get the Emperor card or something. But here I'm connecting the Death card with the 8th house. Because the 8th house rules Scorpio, and it is about death and transformation. But another thing that jumps out at me is also Jupiter. The largest planet and the most expansive natured planet in our solar system seems to be toying with your mind, especially with regards to the 8th house concerning death and transformation. That's why the Death card did show up. The Death card received a cosmic invitation to your party. He might be an unwanted guest, but he'll straighten things out in your house and bring sudden transformation to you. And that's why you received the 8 of Wands. The redeeming feature of this reading is that you're getting a second chance in love with the presence of the Ace of Cups. Although you might not think this, that old blessed cup can herald even new business beginnings. And with the 8th house showing up on the radar, it could be with joint finances, inheritances, taxes, partnership monies. All you can depend on in life is death and taxes, and yes, Jupiter, the 8th house, is injecting an opiate-like substance into the main vein of love and business. And you've noticed you received the 8th house and also the 8 of Wands card, and that's not a coincidence either. It's saying good news is coming, and this might be related to some type of joint ventures. Events may play out swiftly, leaving you to wonder, what the hell happened when you look back? But the ball is rolling now, and I think things are going to start rolling faster and faster in affairs to the point where you're going to be almost speechless. It's like one day you were without or feeling a void, and all of a sudden you have things land in your lap and you feel fulfilled.